Good morning and namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's take a moment to get present. Find a nice, comfortable, seated position where your back of your spine, back of your neck can be nice and tall and long. Opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale, and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace, being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you can think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is joy, J-O-Y. And why I want to talk about this is because I'm starting, and maybe you all are, starting to feel a little bit weary from the winter. And I'm having a little bit of cabin fever setting in. So I was thinking yesterday when I was putting this together, what would really kind of make me feel light and happy and just, buoyant maybe. And the word joy came to me. And finding joy in everyday aspects can make us feel more hopeful. It works like a gratitude list, but I think joy actually emanates more from the heart, and the gratitude list would come more from your head. It's like you think about what you're grateful for, but if you can use the prompt, I find joy in, you feel that all in here. So filling in the blank, I find joy in, fill in the blank. An increasing daylight. This morning I came downstairs, it was a little after 6, and there was a sunrise going on before the snow squall set in. There was a sunrise going on that was really beautiful. And that light, a month ago wasn't there. I'm finding joy in seeing the birds returning to my bird feeder. I have chickadees usually, but I'm getting more variety coming to the feeder now as the days are getting warmer. And in that too is joy that the days are getting warmer, that it's more fun to be outside for longer periods of time in the warmer temperatures. So I suggest when you wake in the morning, set the intention to notice more joy in your day. Allow this joy to fill your heart fully, and from there, it will spread to your mind and your body and your spirit. So this morning's meditation, I have these cards that George shared with me, and I'm going to have you do a guided meditation, and it's called a smiling meditation. And it's on a card that's titled Play. So it's all about, play, having fun. So the meditation brings to mind, or meditation rather, the practice of meditation brings to mind a serious practice where we are asked to focus our attention the right way. Physically smiling, even when it's fake, tells the brain to release happiness chemicals. This meditation encourages playfulness and joy by shining our smile throughout the body. So this is how we're going to do it. Come into an easy seat and close your eyes. Take a moment to center yourself. Take a deep breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Start to smile. Perhaps think of a happy moment as a way to encourage the smile. Notice how your face feels. Notice how your breath feels. Let the smile go and bring it back a few times. When the smile, even a slight smile, starts to feel natural, hold it. Feel the warmth of the smile spread over your face until you feel your whole head is smiling. Slowly send the warmth of the smile throughout your body until your whole body is smiling. Feel the light, the warmth, the joy of the smile radiate from you in all directions. When you are ready, gently open your eyes and take your smile out into the world. And I'll meet you on the mat. So let's continue by starting our asana practice. We're going to start again with shoulder shrugs. So again, if you just kind of roll your shoulders in a nice gentle circle, the intention is to relieve any tension that you may have built up in your upper shoulders, in your neck, your upper back. The intention is to try to break down that stiff armor that we build up with tension. And then reverse your roll. Deep breaths help to loosen everything up. And then relax your shoulders in a neutral position. Take both hands and set them to the left side of our body. kind of touching the mat. And then we're going to sweep our right hand over, creating this rainbow, bringing our right hand to the left side. And when we bring our left hand to the right side, we're going to have our torso facing ahead. So it's going to open our chest and open our heart when our right hand lands. And then we're going to take our left hand and create another rainbow, double rainbow, following it over and landing both hands on the right side. And our torso will be facing the right side of the mat. So we're going to lift our left hand now, create a rainbow, bringing our torso center, opening up our chest, opening up our heart, and then following with our double rainbow, bringing the right hand over to the left side. We'll do this a couple more times. So sweep your right hand up and over, create that nice big rainbow arch, opening your chest, opening your heart, and then sweep your left hand over and have it land on the right side. And then lift the left hand up, sweeping it over, opening your chest and your heart, and double rainbow, bringing your right hand, following it over to the left side. One last time, right hand comes up and over, opening our chest and heart, followed by our left hand sweeping over and coming down. Then we'll come back to a seated position. And bring your soles of your feet together into Cobbler's pose. You can rest your hands around your ankles. Kind of helps to elongate your back, opening up your chest and your heart, or around your toes, interlace your fingers and wrap them around your toes. And we're going to do a few head nods and head turns and head circles. So let's start with the nods. So bring your gaze down toward your feet. And then lift your head up toward the sky. Exhale, bring your head down, gaze down toward your feet. Inhale, lift your gaze up to the sky. Exhale, bring your gaze down to your feet. Inhale, lift it, gaze up toward the sky. Then bring your head back to a neutral position. Back is nice and long, chest is open and wide. We're going to inhale. Yes, inhale, turning our head to the left. And exhale, bringing it back to center. Inhale, turn our head to the right. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, turn to the left. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, turn to the right. Exhale, back to center. And then with the tip of our nose, and this is one of the 9 drishti points, looking at the tip of your nose, and doesn't usually come in very handy, but in this particular exercise it will. So take the tip of your nose, and if you want to try to look at it, draw a nice round circle. And if you kind of envision your hand in front of you, drawing a circle around your hand. So we're not trying to create a lot of movement, just a little gentle circular movement with your nose. And then reverse direction. And then come back to a neutral position. Going to bring our right leg in front of our left leg. We do a seated forward fold. So if you have your legs side by side, right leg being in front of the left leg, we're going to walk our fingers out slowly in front of us and just come down to that sweet spot that's between effort and relaxation. And listen to the sound of your breath and judge where that spot is by the sound of your breath. And then when you get to that spot, just hold there and breathe. And then walk your hands over to the right side and crab walk them over. You feel that stretch in your left side there. And hold and breathe. And then gently walk your hands back toward your right kneecap till you're in an upright position. Then we'll switch legs. Bring your left leg forward in front of your right leg. And we'll do that again on the other side. So again, slowly walk your hands out, listening to your breath. When it gets a little shallow or strained, you may want to just back your hands up just a bit so that you can breathe a nice, natural, gentle breath, an even breath. And then gently crab walk your hands over to the left side. And pause here for a moment and breathe. And then walk your hands back up toward your left kneecap and then come back up into a seated position. We'll make our way up onto our hands and knees for tabletop. Our fingers are spread wide apart, wrists are right below our shoulders, knees are below our hips, navel's tucked to the spine. And we'll actually start this morning with a few I call rear view. So we're going to extend our left leg to the back of the mat and then look or feel in your hands that your weight is evenly distributed in your upper body. And then we're going to take that left leg and move it over to the right side of the mat. And then turning our head like saying no. We're going to turn our head like we're saying no, and then gaze to our left foot down at the bottom of the mat. Then inhale, bring that leg back, and we'll do that on the other side. So again, establish your alignment with your hands that you feel your weight's evenly distributed. Extend your right leg to the back of the mat. And then bring your right foot over off the left side of the mat. And then turn your head as if you're saying no, turning it to the left. And then send that gaze back to your right foot. And then bring that leg back underneath your hips. And we'll start doing some cat-cows. So we're going to exhale, rounding our back, dropping our head and tailbone down for cat. And then inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up, sending our gaze straight ahead for cow. Exhale, round the back for cat. Inhale, send our gaze and tailbone up for cow. Exhale, rounding the back. Inhale, sending our gaze up and out. Well, continue at your own pace, taking really deep inhales and really deep exhales. And you've been doing this a long time, so you know what the pose physically looks like and feels like. But see how it feels inside. Kind of send your focus inward into the breath, into the various spots in your body that you can feel is affected by this pose. And when you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. And bring our knees together underneath our hips. I'm going to extend our right leg back at hip height, pointing our toes, and then extend our left arm to the front of the mat, pointing our fingers ahead. So that's for bird dog. I'm going to point our toes on the inhale, flex our foot, toes pointing down for the exhale. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex, and bring everything back down to the mat. And we'll do that on the other side. So knees come together under our hips, weights evenly distributed in our hands. Lift our left leg up to hip height, pointing the toes. Lift our right arm up, pointing the fingers to the front of the mat. And then exhale, flex our foot. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. And exhale, flex. And bring everything back down. We send our knees out to the edges of the mat, bringing our big toes together, lowering our hips to our ankles into wide-legged child's pose. We'll send our arms up toward the top of the mat, giving our body a nice big stretch. And inhale, come back up to tabletop. And tuck our toes under, walk our hands back, and come up to a squat, and push down into your feet to come up to mountain pose. Mountain pose, our toes are pointed to the long side of the mat or edge of the mat. They're in line with the edge of the mat. And we lift our toes up off the mat and spread our toes out as far as they can go. Right foot's cooperating, left foot's not cooperating, but whatever. And then put our toes down into the mat, lifting our heels up off the mat. And then bring our heels back down and really feel that grounded connection with the earth. Our legs are nice and straight and strong with a gentle bend in the knees. Navel's tucked to the spine. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Our spine, back of our neck's nice and long and tall. Crown of the head reaches up toward the sky. With inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. Big inhale and exhale, bring our hands down to the mat, bending our knees generously so our hands are flat on the mat or on the floor. And we'll just check in again with our body. Feeling any tension. Send a nice, deep, nourishing breath to any of that tension. And today, try to just, how physically, externally the poses are. Just take a moment to go inward and feel how those poses are inside of you. So inhale, bring your hands up to your shins, flatten out the back for half forward fold. And exhale, drop the crown of your head down toward the mat. And with that soft bend in your knees, sweep your hands from the floor all the way up overhead and bring ourselves up onto our tippy toes for palm tree. We'll just sway here for a moment. Work on our balance. Bring our heels down, our hands come down, forward fold, bending our knees, bringing our hands to the mat. Inhale, come up. Bring your hands to your shins, flattening out your back, sending your gaze down so that the back of your spine and neck are nice and long. And then dropping your crown of your head down toward the ground. Forward fold. And sweep your hands from the mat all the way up with a bend in your knees. And this morning we're going to take our right hand and grab onto our left wrist over. So our arms are alongside of our ears, and then we're going to just gently pull our right hand down so our left arm comes over and makes an arch. This is side stretch. Then inhale, come back up. Switch hands, so we bring our left wrist to our left hand to right wrist. And we're going to gently bring that left hand over to the left side, pulling our right arm over for a side stretch this way. And then inhale, come back up. We'll do one more time on each side. Right hand to left wrist. And pull that right hand so that you're bringing the left arm over in an arch. And do that very gently. And then inhale, come back up. Switch hands. Take your left arm, pulling your right arm over to the right. And then inhale, come back up. Sweep our hands back down to the floor, bending our knees on our way down. Inhale, halfway up. Half forward fold, flat back. And then extend our crown of our head down toward the mat. And then sweep our hands from the floor all the way up overhead. Bring palms together, palms come to the heart center. And then Hands come alongside. This morning we're going to do a few knee taps, and this is an energizing movement, and it also gets both sides of your brain going. So it helps to, because the right side of the brain controls the left side and the left side controls the right side. So this is how we're going to activate all that. So we're going to lift our left leg up, bring our right hand over and just tap it, and lift our right knee up, bring our left hand over. So basically you're just lifting our leg and using the opposite hand to land on it. So we'll just do that for a few moments. Sometimes if you get into that doldrum of the winter or cabin fever, you're just not feeling much energy. This is a really good pose to get your body moving and your brain moving, firing on both sides. You want to bring your hand across your body as opposed to your leg across your body. Have your legs out straight, and it's the arm that comes across. All right, and we'll come back to a neutral position, mountain pose. And then one big inhale, sweeping our hands up over our head. And then exhale, bringing our hands back down to the ground. Knees are bent. Inhale, half forward fold. Nice elongated back. And exhale, bring the crown of your head back down to the mat. Then sweep your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then palms come to the back of our hips for supported back bend. Feet are hip width apart. Shoulders are rolled back. Fingertips are on the back of the hips pointing down. And gently roll your shoulders back, tucking your chin to your chest. And then just drop your shoulders backward. And remember to breathe. And then bring your torso back up. So you may have noticed we didn't do a pranayama, the breathing technique, at the beginning. So this is where that comes in. And there is a breathing technique called breath of joy. We've done it before. So it's 3 inhales and then a big exhale. So the inhales, 3 inhales go through your nose and the big exhale goes through your mouth. The arm movements are inhale, arms come out in front. Inhale, they go out to the sides. Inhale, sweep up overhead. And then exhale, come down like you're swishing down a slope. So let's start that. So inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. One more time, inhale, 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 exhale. Very good. So we're gonna, if you want to turn to the side of your mat, come into a wide-legged stance. Our toes are going to be pointing toward the corners of the mat. Heels are tucked in 45 degrees. And we're going to do a few God and stars. And it's going to be an energetic move. So bring your arms up and come into star position. And then we're going to bend our knees and bend our elbows as we pull down. We're going to physically pull down an invisible bar, opening our chest, bringing our shoulder blades together. That's a goddess. That's a strong goddess pose. And then exhale, bringing our arms, or I guess it would be, anyway, figure out what feels best. Inhaling and exhaling. So we'll come back up to star. I guess it would be inhale, coming back down to goddess. Really bring that shoulder blades together, opening your chest, opening your heart, strong fists, making active moves. And then push, coming back up to star for exhale. Inhale, come down. Exhale, pushing up. Inhale, come down. Exhale, push up. Inhale, come down. And one last time, exhale, push up. And then we're going to bring our arms down, pivot our feet so that we come into warrior two. So I have my left foot pointing to the top of the mat. My left knee is over the ankle. Right foot, back edge of the foot is nice and snug in the mat. I'm going to push down and push out to really activate my legs. Chest is open to the long side of the mat. Sweep my arms up and then gently turn the gaze over to my left fingertips. And this is another pose where you know physically the alignment, but see if you can take your senses inside and see how that feels the inside. Trying to make the pose fit your body, not your body fit the pose. Now we're going to drop our right hand back, lifting the left hand up for reverse warrior. Sending our gaze up to our fingertips, one of the 9 drishtis. And then back to warrior two, back into alignment. And then we send our left hand down to the mat, or if that's too far, send your left elbow to your left thigh and send the right hand up to the sky. And if you're able, send your gaze up to your right hand. And then pull our hand back up so we come back up to warrior two. Sending our gaze to our left fingertips. Then straighten out our left leg and then reach our left hand forward like we're about to grab something off a shelf. And then send that left hand down to our left leg, coming into triangle pose. And if you're able, you send your gaze up to the top of your hand, your right hand. And then pull your hand up, coming back into warrior two. And then we're going to sweep our right hand to the front of the mat and then bring both hands down to the mat, pivoting our back foot, coming into runner's lunge. Right hand goes onto the mat. And we'll sweep our left hand up to the sky for runner's lunge with a twist. Keeping our legs really active, heels pushing to the back of the mat. And then bring our left hand down. We're going to bring our left foot to the back of the mat, coming into plank pose. Navel's tucked to the spine, elevating our hips slightly. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat. And then push off with your toes a little and come down, Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Come down slowly, mindfully. With our hands below our shoulders and our elbows tucked to our ribs, and gently push up into Cobra. And then keep pushing up into tabletop and down to child's pose. Your version, it could be wide-legged or legs could be underneath you. And then come back up to tabletop, tucking our toes under. We're going to bring our hips up to the sky for downward dog and pedal out here for a moment. Fingers are nice and snug into the mat, index fingers pointing to the top of the mat. Arms are straight. Chest is reaching toward our thighs, sending our hips up to the sky. And next we're going to do pigeon pose. So we're going to bring our left leg, left knee to the back of our left wrist and set it down on the mat. So our left knee is on the mat right behind our left wrist. The right leg is still straight and strong like we're in runner's lunge. We're going to slide that leg down so that your knee and the top part of your leg meets the mat. And your left leg, it could be tucked right underneath your left thigh, or you can have your foot out to the side. You still want to keep your hip bones parallel to the mat though. So whatever works to keep your hip bones parallel to the mat. And if you want to try a little bit of a stretch in pigeon pose, you can kind of scooch your foot up toward your right hand. Mine doesn't scooch too far. And then we'll walk our hands back a little bit, come into a proud pigeon pose with a nice arch in our back. And then walk our hands forward, coming down to recline pigeon. You can come down to your elbows, or if you are able, you can come down so your forehead is resting on the mat. And if you have a blanket available to you, you could tuck that under your left hip to keep your hip bones parallel to the mat. And then walk your hands back up, tuck your right toes under and lift back up to downward dog. And walk your feet to your hands, coming into forward fold. And then bring your hands up, sweep them up all over your head. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. We'll do a few more breaths of joy. So again, we're going to inhale, arms out. Inhale, arms wide. Inhale, arms up, and exhale down. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Then come back to center. And you may want to either change the other side of the mat or stay at the same side, and you're just going to come to the wide-legged stance. We're going to work the other side of our body. So again, your feet are wide apart, toes are pointing to the corners, heels tucked in 45 degrees. We sweep our arms up into a star position and then actively pull down while we're bending our knees and pulling our hands down into fierce warrior goddess pose. Shoulders on our back come together, chest is pumped out, heart is open. And then push, bringing your hands and legs straight back up to star. Pull for goddess, inhale. Exhale, push for star. Inhale, pull for goddess. Exhale, push for star. Inhale, pull for goddess. Exhale, push for star. One last time. Inhale, pull for goddess. Exhale, push for star. Then we're going to come into warrior two in the opposite foot. So before we had our left foot, now would be our right foot. That is at the top of the mat, knees, right knees over the right ankle. Back foot, the left foot is snug in the mat. Chest is open to the side of the mat. Bringing our arms up, shoulder height, and gently turning our gaze to the right. And just, again, check, not externally, but internally, how this pose feels. Make any adjustments. You feel that little tweaking would feel right for your body or for today. This is your practice. So inhale, we're going to sweep our right hand up, left hand goes down for reverse warrior. Bring it back to warrior two, sending that gaze out straight, fingers. Then exhale, bring your hand down to the floor or arm to your thigh. Extended side angle. Left hand goes up to the sky and you send your gaze up there. That's comfortable. And then pull your left hand up, bringing you back into warrior two. Sending your gaze out over your right fingertips. Straighten out your right leg and stretch your right hand forward as if you're about to grab something from the counter, and then drop your right hand down to the floor or to your leg. Anywhere it lands is fine. And if you can, send your gaze up to your hand. And then pull your left hand up, coming back into warrior two. And sweep your left hand to the front. Bring both hands down to the mat, coming into runner's lunge. And bringing your left hand to the mat, we're going to sweep our right hand up to the sky, sending the gaze up to the hand. Bring our hand back down to the mat. Send our right foot to the back of the mat to meet your left foot. Coming into plank pose. And then slowly come down to the mat, Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. And with your hands below your shoulders, elbows tucked to your sides, push up into Cobra. And then up to tabletop and send your hips down to Child's Pose. Come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, come up into downward dog. And we'll just pedal out here for a moment. And then on the next inhale, we're going to bring our right knee and place it on the mat right behind our right wrist. Our left leg stays straight, so our hip bones are parallel to the mat. Slide that left foot down so your knee rests on the mat. Top of your left leg rests on the mat. And again, if you have a towel, you can tuck it under your right hip. Keep your hip bones parallel. And then maybe try to walk your right foot up a little ways. We'll walk our hands back, come into the proud pigeon pose. And then walk our hands down either to your elbows or all the way down to your forehead for reclined pigeon. And bring your hands back up. And we're going to tuck our left toe under, come back up into downward dog, and then bring our knees to the mat. And come into, swing our knees to the side, come into staff position, where we're sitting on the mat. Legs are nice and straight and strong in front of us, toes are pointing up to the ceiling, feet are flexed. We're going to bring our right foot and place it to the outside of our left knee. Bring our right hand behind us, so that's close to our hip bones. We'll send our left arm up, so we stretch out our back, and then wrap it around. The left arm wraps around the right knee for sage pose. And you can send your gaze as comfortably over your right shoulder as you can. And then come back to center. We'll do that on the other side. Left foot goes on the outer edge of your right knee. Left hand goes behind you, coming close to your hips. Right arm goes up to the sky, straightening out our back, and then bringing our right arm, wrapping it around our left knee. And gently send your gaze over your left shoulder. And then come back to center. We'll roll down one vertebrae at a time, or express method. I'm choosing express today. Bring our knees to our chest and give them a nice gentle hug. Then rock back and forth for a nice lower back massage. We're going to bring both feet to the mat. We'll bring our right ankle and rest it right below our left knee. So we're in recline, beginning stages of a recline pigeon pose. And we're just going to stay here. And I suggest that you take your hand, place it on your right kneecap that's pointing toward the side of the mat. And just gently guide it as far as it will go to that sweet spot. And then guide it back. Just take your hand and guide it, swing it around so that it comes over your hips and your ribs. And then we'll swing it back, toggle it back again so that the knee's pointing to the right side of your mat as much as is comfortable. And then guide it back, toggle it back over your ribs and your hip. And one last time, push it out toward the right, so your knees pointing to the right side of the mat. That's a gentle push. And then back in toward your hips and your ribs on the left side. And then we're going to take our left foot, the one that's on the mat, and scoot it out to the outer edge of the mat, left edge of the mat. And then we're going to drop both knees down to the mat. So our right foot is still sitting on top of our left leg. So right above the knee, but a little bit over to the side now. And then bring both legs back up. Unwrap the legs, and we'll do that on the other side. So bring your left ankle to your right leg, right below the right kneecap. And with your left hand, just guide it so that the left knee is pointing to the left side of the mat. And then with your left hand, guide it so that it comes over your ribs and hips on your right, preferably on your right side, but it could be just your left side, whatever's comfortable. And then again, gently guide it back out so the knee's pointing to the left side of the mat. And then guide it back in. And guide it back out again. Slow, gentle movements. And guide it back in again. And then we're going to walk our right foot out to the right edge of the mat and drop both knees down to the mat. Without getting into the chakras too much, I just want to share with you, today we did a lot of hip openers, and that's the second chakra, which is the guide for your emotions. So by opening up the channels in your chakra, especially around your hips, that can release any built up emotions, release them so that things are flowing energetically throughout your body again. So just kind of in the back of your mind, if you're feeling a little blue or having feverish or something, a lot of hip openers will help to kind of grease the skidway, if you will, or start the flow going. So bring our legs back and then bring your legs down to the end of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. Just find a nice, comfortable prone position where your heels are pointing toward the corners of your mat, feet are flopped open, arms are out at an angle from your side with the palms up, and just relax and release all your muscles and your bones into the mat. Letting go of any tension, maybe aiding that with some deep inhales and deep exhales. Exhales, activating more and more relaxation. This morning, I'm going to read a poem by James Cruz titled Winter Morning. When I can no longer say thank you for this new day and the waking into it, for the cold scrape of the kitchen chair and the ticking of the space heater glowing orange as it warms the floor near my feet, I know it is because I've been fooled again by the selfish, unruly man who lives in me and believes he deserves only safety and comfort. But if I pause as I do now and watch the streetlights outside winking off one by one, like old men closing their cloudy eyes, if I listen to my tired neighbors slamming car doors hard against the morning and see the steaming coffee in their mugs, kissing their chapped lips as they sip and exhale each of their worries white into the icy air around their faces, then I can remember this one life is a gift each of us was handed and told to open. Untie the bow and tear off the paper. Look inside and be grateful for whatever you find, even if it is only the scent of a tangerine that lingers on the fingers long after you've finished it.